So this video deals with anti-money laundering regulations and documents. Now, as the buyer and seller, you both have to comply with UK's anti-money laundering documents. They're set out in various statutes and laws, and I won't bore you with that. It can be complicated, yes they can. But as far as you're concerned, what AVRillo have done, we make things very easy for you. So as seller and buyer, you have to provide what's called ID evidence. Now, the government, because of all the money laundering fraud and drug money coming in and the 6/9/11, all the criminal activity that goes on around the world, and in particular in England with the UK property market, where billions of pounds are lost due to money laundering, billions of pounds. So they need to know the ID of the seller and buyer, that you are actually the buyer or the seller. Now, if this to happen, what AVRillo will do, we'll send you what's called an ID free, or we'll send you some other procedure, and we'll explain that to you. Provided you send back your documents, which are essentially the passport, or you can send out a copy of the passport, but it can't be done by email if you send a copy. It's going to be done in the post. A copy of your passport, or a copy of your driving license, and then a copy of your utility statement, or other statements which will write to you to explain what you need, and those are actually copied but not emailed. It's very important. You can't send an email, as the government won't allow that. So that's called ID. That's fine. That covers you as the buyer and seller. Now, if you're buying a property, you have to do one more step. You have to what's called provide source of funds evidence. Now, source of funds evidence means that the government wants to be satisfied that those funds that you're using to buy the property are not from illegal crime. Now, obviously, it won't apply to you, but the government captures everybody. So it has to be very certain that it gets this right. So a source of evidence will include bank statements, and include things, your earnings, where the money has come from. Has it come from deposit or shares, or has it come from other places? With those different places, obviously you'll keep your money. Now, once you send that in, your lawyer will look at those and make sure they're the right sources. And once that's passed, then you pass the anti-money laundering rules. Now, in fact, the government says to lawyers that you've got to actually have those information, especially the ID documents, right before you start working on your files. So it's important you get those documents to your lawyer immediately when the file's opened. Now, at AVRillo, we do allow you a few days. We actually allow you 7 days grace, but please try and get it in as soon as possible. These are the government's rules. If you don't get it right, it can be an imprisonment offence, and it can amount to a massive fine. So, but having said that, don't worry about that part. It is very, very easy if you follow our guidance. And again, we've got on our website, it tells you about it. It also tells you about it on documents we send you when we write to you with these particular documents.